Now we're ready for the wheel. And look at my beautiful apron that my father made me out of used jeans. I love it. I am going to go ahead and cover my legs because I'm kind of a messy potter, but not really. I'm going to get my wheel set up. I'm going to make sure my pedal and my wheel is right where I want it. My foot on it, I'm going to try it. Okay. I got my towel and a little hand towel. Now I'm going to take a bat and I'm going to put it on the wheel head. This is called a bat grabber. I use it because it gives me a little friction between the bat and the wheel head. These bat pins will go where these holes are here on the bat, and that's just that simple, and it'll stay on there and it doesn't move, and I love them. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of the pieces of clay that I wedged earlier, and I'm going to get it on the bat. And what I normally do is I kind of bang it around, make the bottom look like an egg. I kind of egg it before I put it on the wheel. I don't want a flat piece of clay going on the wheel. I want a rounded bottom. That way when I put it down, it just, there's no air in there. It sticks to the bat and everything is all good, okay? So I'm gonna put it in. Don't need to slam it down like 100 pounds of strength. You don't need any strength. What you need is doing the same thing over and over. So now you see me, I have the wheel going very slowly, and I have this left hand in my waist, and I'm just using this as a chopping motion, and I'm hitting and going in and down on the clay, in and down, in and down, in and down, and I just keep doing that. I'll have my other hand come in and do the same thing, and as a beginner this is really a helpful tip. So now that the clay is there, it looks like it's round, it's all in there, it's stuck to the wheel, it's not going to go anywhere. And if you've noticed, it was a dry bat, dry clay, dry hands. Everything was dry. Now I will put some water on the wheel and on the clay. And now what I'm doing is I am lifting. This is called lifting. And I'm just lifting. I'm squeezing both hands together. The clay has nowhere to go. What can it do? It can't do anything. It can go up. Now what I'm doing is I'm pushing one hand on top like a karate chop. The other hand stays steady on the side. And I'm going to press this down, and it's called centering. So I'm going to push this clay down until I have it centered, okay? One of the things that new students ask me all the time is, how do I know it's how do I know if it's centered? Well, that's not centered. Do you see how it's just blah, 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 has a little problem? That's not centered. So when it's centered, you know it's centered because it's not going all over. If you just took your hand here and went all the way up, all the way up, all the way to here, there's no movement. It's all centered, okay? That's when you know it's ready. And now what you do is you open the clay. Okay, so now I'm just going to go down with my thumb, kind of my strongest finger, and I'm going to stop the wheel at this point. I'm going to take my needle tool, I'm going to go down into the clay, I'm going to take my pointer finger, and I'm going to see how much clay is down there. And that's a little bit too much, so I need to go down a little bit further. And that's just to test how thick your floor is going to be. You don't want to have a real thick floor, and you don't want to have a thin floor. Now that I know that the floor is where I want it, I'm going to open up the clay. I'm just going to pull it straight back into my belly button. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead, and this is called compressing the floor. And all of these steps are very, very important. You cannot do the next step without making sure you do all of this. So this is just compressing the floor at the bottom of your pot, and you want to make sure that it's smooth. It's like when they pour your floors for construction, when they're building your house. If one side of it was thick and one side of it was thin, what would happen? Your house would be uneven, and that's how this would. When you open it up, and if it's balancing going like this, that means that one side of the floor is thicker than the other. Okay, so now that I have everything open, if you want to come and look and see what that looks like, what I was talking about is there's the floor, and it's all nice and even. Isn't that nice? And I'm going to take just a little bit of the water out, and now I'm going to start lifting the walls. You probably want to come on this side, as I am going to stay over here at 3 o'clock. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stay right here until all the clay is into this cylinder, okay? So here we go. So I'm going to move this thick part. I'm going to press that in to the wall as I move up a little bit. Now I'm going to compress that lip. This is the top of the clay. I want to make it a little bit thick so it's not thin and doesn't chip out. Now I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm pushing my outside fingers, and my inside fingers are following exactly what the outside fingers are doing. And when I come to the rim, I just open up. I don't go above the rim. Okay, now I'm going to compress that again. I'm going to take some of the water out again. You don't want to have a swimming pool down there, because all that water is going to absorb into your pot, and it'll make your walls weak. It'll take a lot longer to dry and set up also. All right, so now I'm just lifting, following it, coming on up, coming here. I'm going to open up, get off. I'm going to use my stick, my sponge on a stick, because it's getting a little tall, and I just want to get all the water out of the top of it, bottom of it. I'm going to compress my wall again, and now I'm going to get a tool, and I'm going to go on the outside, and I'm going to compress the outside. This is the tool that I'm going to use. At this edge, I want it to be on the side of the pot, and I'm pushing my inside fingers along the edge of this tool. I'm coming all the way up, and as you can see, I compressed all that clay into the pot, and we want all that in before we start shaping. I'm gonna do one more throw down there. I'm gonna come up, take the water out of the inside again. Alrighty, now we have a cylinder. If you want to look at this nice cylinder that we have, I want to go inside and look. It's really nice and straight. From where I opened, the walls come straight up, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the extra clay off the bottom. I'm going to use a tool. I'm going to shape it because I want all 4 of these cylinders that I'm making to have the same exact shape. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with this tool. Now I'm going to take this rib. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to press down a little bit and give that some definition. Come up and smooth it all out. And there you go. You have a beautiful, beautiful cylinder. Okay, isn't that gorgeous? And my attempt will be to make all 4 of them the same.